After 5 days in Vegas, all I can think is, people like our look. We wore Good JuJu merch all week, and the only thing more consistent than our gambling profits that week was all the comments we got on our swag. The first compliment we got was all like, "Hey, neat shirt, bud." The second compliment was similar, "Cool hat." But after the third comment, a guttural screaming, "Good JuJu!" from our friend Spanky, we knew our brand was on point. From a fun, unique line of hats to creative, gambling-related tees, Good JuJu apparel has us looking crisp from our fresh start in Vegas all the way to the exhausting, immune system destroying end of our time 5 days later. If you want to look good in Vegas, at your local casino, or just while sweating bets on your couch, check out our full line of merchandise on goodjujubets.net. Remember, Good JuJu apparel is always good juju for you. I'm going to have to lean into the sick thing.
Yeah, okay.
I can't. You can hear it all over my voice.
No, you don't sound that bad.
We can't lose. No, we can't lose.
Enjoy it while it lasts. Gambling gods, fickle bunch. Oh yeah, so easily affected.
We have a shooter and a good one coming out for a new point. Get your bets down, ladies and gentlemen. He's a rolling point is 9. Place 9. 9 a winner. Got a hot hand. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
They bet on absolutely anything. Don't make them prove it.
As Spanky says, right, most sports bettors are probably going to be more introverted, and so having an opportunity for folks to get out of their shell, build some networks. I definitely connected with 3 or 4 out of my 15 that I kept in contact with throughout the event.
You're tuned in to Gambling with Good JuJu.
Welcome in, everybody, to Gambling with Good JuJu, where we just spent a week in Vegas chasing down topics and personalities in the world of sports and casino gambling for you.
Yeah, definitely not for us.
That's right, folks. We went to Vegas for 5 days for purely altruistic reasons. You, the listening audience. Did we even have a good time on this super serious business trip? Stay tuned and find out. While we kick things off, if you don't mind, head over to whatever platform you're listening to us on and give us a like, follow, whatever it is to let your favorite podcast platform know you appreciate what we're doing. Hit us up on the socials at Good JuJu Bets, where we did an okay job of dropping fun stuff while out in Vegas. Several people mentioned appreciating the content we put out. We lols. Good job, Juice.
Yeah, well, a master at work.
Proud. I contributed a Star Wars theme, hashtag overthrown.
Nice work. Nice work.
I was so proud of myself
right.
on that post. Was it lame?
Oh, no. I think dozens of people saw it.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to go viral for that one.
Virality.
I did not. Oh, well, maybe. Still time, audience.
Go to our Twitter and
Go
like
make the random post that I thought was clever because it referenced Star Wars when DraftKings backed down.
Shout out DraftKings.
We should probably talk about that today. Maybe not. We'll see.
Who knows?
On this episode of Gambling with Good JuJu, we are recapping Bet Bash in 3 segments. We'll be kicking off with the Heat Check, discussing the various shenanigans and learnings between Juice and I. Once completed, we are tagging in our newest best friend, Andrew, to break down the value of the conference from a recreational bettor's perspective. You can find Andrew on the Twitters at Wolverine Flyer. Andrew spent a lot of time with us breaking down how he games casinos for the best comps and rewards with some sports gambling mixed in. We got an 8P slots tutorial from him as well. One of the surprise learnings for me that did not come from sports gambling this week. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, the only back-to-back Hilton Super Contest winner, Steve Fezzik, joins us to offer his perspective on Bet Bash from the professional gambler's point of view. We found one. We asked everyone if they considered themselves a professional sports bettor. Like 2 people said yes, right?
Yeah, a few, yeah.
A few people said yes, and one of them is joining us today.
Yeah, good job by us.
Is that one of the things you corrected?
I think so.
Yeah. A few people said yes, and one of them is joining us today. You can find Steve on Twitter at Fezzik Sports, where he loves to talk and occasionally drop plays the Blue Horseshoe loves.
Shout out Blue Horseshoe.
See, maybe it was important you tell me what you
Yes.
Get some water.
Oh, this is fun. We're back in the saddle. We should have just done it in Vegas. What a pipe dream that was, right?
That was never gonna happen.
We brought 3 microphones. None of them saw the light of day. I was like, I'm going to be there a whole day. I better record at least a whole episode of me looking at my phone.
Dude, I recorded 3 minutes of B-roll when I got there while you were doing something, and I just recorded the street in front of Caesars, and I think I uploaded it right away, and I did not record B-roll after that. In fact, the only time I did anything with my phone was when you yelled at me to take a picture.
Take a picture of me, asshole.
Will you please take a picture?
Then the rest of the trip, it's like, all right, we're going in here and we're taking pictures. And we didn't take any pictures.
Well, we got the camera. We'll get to all that.
Jeez. All right.
Okay, then. Before we get to the perspectives of a rec gambler and a pro gambler, it's time for the heat check. All right. What do you want to talk about, Juice? LOL.
All right. Bet Bash. What a week. I'm honestly blown away by how much content there was at this thing, right? I am absolutely going to go again next year. Not for nearly as many days.
Probably.
Anyway, it was really good stuff. I got motivated, challenged some of my personal thinking, got interested more in legislature, was able to fanboy, was approached by strangers that gave us a pat on the back, and made a bunch of industry contacts and even some friendships already. How cool, right?
Multiple people, including one who we're going to have on here, but not just the contacts what we made, but the multiple people we plan to stay in touch with after the fact now.
Yeah, it's like, you can't talk casually about sports betting around regular people. You got to go to a conference, which was a little funny, but truly felt like we kind of found our herd there.
I will say that even for me, I didn't talk as much sports gambling one-on-one with people.
Yeah.
I talked a lot more sports gambling industry with people.
Yeah.
It was a lot more conversation about the sports gambling industry than it was about the nuts and bolts of sports gambling.
Yeah.
And that was probably by my design, given my personal goals from the conference and who I was trying to interact with and things like that.
Yeah.
But I really found just the ability to nerd out in whatever way gets you.
Yeah.
From that perspective, it was there for you.
Absolutely. And one other thing I did want to say real quick is the range of people there was top to bottom, like absolutely anybody in the industry from total novice sports bettors. Like we talked to some of them, right? That was awesome to see. Up to professionals who were super nice and excited to talk to us about being there.
Everyone was there.
Yes.
Not only that, but I feel like I left a lot of networking opportunities on the table. As much as we did, I still looked at that event and was like, man, I didn't even get around to. I know there were a variety of people there who I was interested in talking to, connecting with, wasn't able to make it happen, which indicates to me that it has lasting power for several years because there were all kinds of groups like that who would have loved to have met us, who we would have loved to have met, and it just 1,000 people or whatever, in one space. It's hard to make it all happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's get into this. I want to give a quick breakdown. First, I'm going to apologize to the audience. We are home from Vegas. I brought Vegas back with me in the form of an illness.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Not that kind of illness, get dirtbags.
What goes viral in Vegas does not stay viral in Vegas. That apparently comes home with you. So yeah, that first day back was an interesting one. First of all, we flew back on 2 hours of sleep and then drove home, shared the driving home. I get home in time to finish putting the kids to bed, talk to my wife, and just tried to stay coherent before I fell asleep after that.
Right, not fun.
That day after that was, oh my goodness, how am I going to recover? How many naps did you take?
3 naps yesterday.
3 naps.
During my work week.
3 naps. That's 2 days after you came back.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's 2 days. That was Monday that he hit that.
You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Look, I'm back to normal, my responsibilities. Not quite sure how I'm getting them all done, but apologies to the audience. Now, let's get into Vegas. First of all, before we talk about the sports gambling conference, which we're going to break down in a little more detail here quickly, but we won money.
Doesn't that feel good, man?
I have never come back from Vegas profitable on casino gambling. I've rarely ever come home from a casino, period, profitable from gambling. The fact that we had the good juju flowing that entire conference, we even had people commenting on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like other people at the conference going, wow, you guys do have the good juju, don't you?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm a professional casino gambler at this point. This is my third straight Vegas trip coming home with more money.
You've done it 3 straight times now.
Unbelievable, right? And this was my best attempt at eating entirely for free. I didn't quite make it there, but I was pretty close. Like 1 and let's call it 2 meals I paid for.
Well, you had to get to Evil Pie.
I had to get evil pie, so that's a half a meal.
That's okay. All right. I thought we had more interesting encounters despite less actual gambling at the gambling tables this trip than I've had in quite a while.
Interesting personalities we played with.
I mean, like we made a friend in Jeremy cashing out at a cage.
Jesus.
He was wanted to hang out with us outside.
Yeah.
Me in particular, because he felt
He wanted to beat the crap out of you.
He sure did. Ryan here did a very nice job of smoothing things over.
Yes, I did. I
Appreciate you.
Yeah, peacemaker.
Yeah, got me not stabbed. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Then we go and gamble at another table, and a dude runs up and slams down like $400 or whatever on the don't
It was way more than that, friend.
whatever it
Yeah.
was, after I had already started my roll, then distracts us and slows down the entire roll, screaming, yelling, being generally aggressive. I gave it a good run. I made a bunch of money on that roll just because I was on a bunch of numbers that kept hitting. But after that super long roll that he had to sweat and yell at us for the entire time, that is a crap out, right? I crapped out there. Or did I 7 out?
You
there?
7'd out, yeah.
I
Technically.
7 out there. And
the worst part about it was the guys screaming at us from the other end of the table saying, I know how to do this. Watch me, guys. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, pal.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
And
was
there
a
was
bad-
there
that
were
was a bad
4 of
vibe.
us. There was super good juju. There were, it looked like a
Couple total noobs.
couple total noobs at the other end of the table, having a good time, throwing some dice. We were throwing some dice. We were dancing while we were throwing it, and he wanted to come in and throw some bad juju. And if you want to ruin things with bad juju, it's pretty easy to do.
At a craps table for sure.
You're gonna your bad juju's gonna beat good juju.
Yeah.
Like good juju just needs to find a new place to shine.
So the best part was we all colored up, all 4 of us. I colored up, then you colored up, then the 2 young girls that didn't really know what they're doing colored up. And we all left the table, and then he's like, well, I'm coloring up too. And then we all just did a circle and came back to the craps table.
Yeah.
Except him.
Yeah. It was awful. It was awful. But then, like, on the flip side of that, we got to gamble with people we met at the conference. We got to gamble with a variety of locals and travelers who were, like, disbelieving of the reasons we were in Las Vegas. That was fun.
Yeah, so many people were like, there's no such thing as a professional sports bettor.
The last night we were there were these young guys gambling, and one of them was smashed, and one of them was only half smashed. And the half smashed one listened to us tell him what we actually did that night: attend the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame, go up to the Legacy Club, hang out with professional sports gamblers, tell them that we have our own show, all this stuff. And like, after talking to him for like 10 minutes about it and like thinking he's just like listening to me all normal, he turns to me and he goes, so what are you guys actually doing in those tuxes? And I go,
like that was our cover.
that was awesome. Because in that moment, I was like, what we did was so cool. This dude doesn't believe we actually did it.
Right. What a good, man, that's fun.
Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome. It was a wild week in Vegas with Dead and Company, Morgan Wallen, Whalen, whatever, and
HackerCon,
DEF CON, HackerCon, something like that. Yeah.
A lot of interesting personalities.
Yeah.
In the building.
Yes, it was very strange.
I mean, the funniest part is while the one dude's completely blitzed and unable to properly play blackjack because we're playing pitch blackjack, and the other dude's trying to have this conversation with me. There's a lady on meth over at the other end of the table who is still gambling, hating every one of us and the dealer at the table, but she cannot speak in actual English, so no one knows what she's saying, and she can't speak loud enough for anyone to actually be truly distracted by her. So she spent the entire time acting mad at everyone at the table, we think, and talking nonstop, and no one knew what it was. And the most amazing part of that entire thing is that the casino kept bringing her drinks. She orders it. I don't even know how they understood what she ordered. This is not like regular, like, you know, some college chick who's had a drink or two too much. This is, there is more than alcohol here. The way she stayed coherent is phenomenal. I can't believe you guys just served her another drink and then leaned over to us and said, we're going to shut down this table. Why'd you give her the drink, guy?
So that just pretty much sets the scene. They shut down a table with 5 or 6 people at it in Las Vegas. Like, that probably hasn't happened in a while.
It does not happen. There is no reason to do that except for the meth head and the guy who was so drunk he could not figure out how to gamble.
I'm just glad it wasn't us.
And it was amazing because before that, I had to so we ended our night at the Legacy Club.
Yeah.
Because I was like, all right. He's no longer trusted in a conversation if I walk away.
Right. With a $80 glass of bourbon.
No matter what the person says, you just start laughing maniacally. So loud.
Oh, that was fun.
So we go down from that and I'm like, let's just go gamble at the Cal because it'll be safe to gamble there. Forgetting I'm in Vegas and not like Peoria where I have to worry about how drunk you are. So I go to the Cal and I'm like, all right, let's go to like a slot machine and like just get you some water before we go sit down at a table here. Burn $100 each in the fastest slot machine possible. Then go to that table, sit down there, and after 3 hands, I'm like, oh, RJ's going to be the one who keeps this table sane. That's how awesome that table was at the Cal.
Okay, that was fun.
Yeah. So anyways, all right. So we had a good time gambling. We made money. What'd you think of the conference? You went through like a high level of all the things you learned. Anything you want to talk about in terms of what you took away from Bet Bash specifically?
My interpretation of what a professional sports bettor is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you care to share on that?
Well, it certainly helped me understand, obviously, the business or the betting partnership situation, right? And the value of the PPH nerdy, unregulated outs, let's call it, right?
Right.
And how that whole ecosystem works.
Does it make you more or less likely to consider it in the future?
Well, I was not going to consider it at all before we went, but now I'm intrigued.
So it moved the needle.
It did move the needle. I'm not like, already looking for a bookie outside, but maybe someday, who knows?
So in that same vein, I will say this. I have a much better understanding of betting partnerships now.
Yeah.
I also have a lot to still learn before I understand them well enough to consider taking part in one.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a top line. And if I were chasing that in this conference, I could have easily gotten all the answers I needed.
Absolutely.
That wasn't in my goals for the conference. I don't think it was. And like you said, when you
not
went,
at all.
It wasn't even on your radar. So maybe that's something in future years we would potentially leverage to learn more about.
Absolutely.
Or it before then. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see where we'll like.
Shout out Chinese Mike and Spanky for doing a great job putting that on.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Flu game.
To the point.
For Chinese Mike. Good job. Yeah. For me, my primary goal, and I kid you not, audience, was I wanted to figure out how to play Survivor. We had a questionable experience last year.
More Survivor content.
We've invested quite a bit of money in our entries this year. And I'm going to look to expand that with smaller pools so I can practice more. I've already signed up Taylor Mathis. Shout out.
Shout out Team Mathis.
Playing in her pool. So they had a session on Circa Survivor and walking through what Circa Survivor was, as well as tools that have been developed that are going to be made available. Find them on Twitter at Survivor Atlas. Gives you everything. breaks down for you what the expected win percentages for teams are, what the estimated pick percentages are for teams, what every single pick by every single person who participates in the tournament has. So as you get later in the tournament, you can literally look and see who all your opponents have.
The actual people left in
Yeah.
Circa Survivor. Wow.
Yeah. What all they got going on. All this awesome stuff.
Yeah.
So the best part is he's not charging for it this year.
Oh, wow.
It's free.
Beta.
So anyone who uses it, going to be great. We liked it so much. Survivor is going to be our next episode. We're actually bringing on the seminar host on the topic, Gabe, a man who developed the actual Survivor Atlas tool. So we're really excited to have that conversation and share that information with
Very
our
cool.
audience.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
So cool.
And I'm excited for you to make the picks. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's see if we can talk to our partners. We have partners now.
We got partners.
Yeah. I don't know if he wants to be public or not. Private
It's
partners.
silent for sure.
We'll see silent to start. That's for sure.
We took his mic.
Yeah. You know what? No, not that
No,
partner.
not that partner,
We have
yeah.
that. We have 4 partners now. Yes, we also have Jolly. Jolly's not silent.
We're going to need an LLC.
We couldn't silence Jolly even if we tried. we need an LLC. All right. You know what else I learned?
Please tell.
I am now scheming how I can bring my wife actively into the fold. Thank you to the women's panel. Why am I not trying harder here?
Yeah.
Like you seem to be doing it. Like you're watching
Right.
like soccer matches that she's into and then playing parlays based off of that.
Yeah, dabble in some bets.
So that's some cool stuff.
Yeah.
I need to get Christy going on something along those lines as well.
Yeah, I'll say she read the little brochure front to back of the little program for the whole thing. That was basically the only thing she commented on. She's like, "What's this women's panel thing?" And I was
Lisa?
like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Well, it's about talking you into betting more." She's like, "Oh, I already do." So yeah, now that the Olympics are over, I guess we got to find a new thing to bet on together.
I mean, good for you guys.
Yeah,
Good for you guys. I gotta get Christy more engaged.
yeah, get
Not
sweaty.
that she's not. Like she celebrates my wins.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
Yeah,
She celebrates my wins, which is
right. I think we're probably a ways away for Lisa banging like 10-leg correlated parlays, but
yeah.
yeah.
Maybe I just need to get Christy going on the SGPs.
Yeah, tell her to pick a touchdown.
I don't know, cut that.
Good.
So I learned a few things during the course of the seminar. Anything else in particular that stood out to you?
You know what? I'm going to be sprinkling findings from this, I think, for the rest of this season.
Yeah. And I know Andrew's going to have his own.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
be curious to hear what Steve says as well as that realm.
Yeah,
But
it'd be good to get their perspectives.
we made new friends.
Yep.
Like we said, we're going to meet Andrew. But how about the full cast of characters we found ourselves around? Couple moments that I want to shout out here. Shout out Tim Lawson, David Hill, and John Reeder for including me in their journalistic conversation at the Legacy Club. I did my best to shut up and listen. Gave me some things to ponder, which I'm grateful for. But I genuinely stood there going, all right, just let them talk. Just let them talk.
Tim was a good Sherpa. He helped us like kind of get our bearings a little bit.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
at one point I leaned over to him because I didn't know John Reeder was John Reeder. There was no introduction or anything. Kind of walked up and started talking to someone. So I lean over to Tim and Tim thinks like either I'm being weird or I'm trying to get by because he does the and like moves his body. And I'm like, no, I have a question for you. And he's like, oh, okay. And I lean over and I'm like, is that the Risk of Ruin guy? And he's like, yeah. And then he goes, okay. And I'm like, oh, I'm a big fan. I absolutely love his podcast.
Yeah, great stuff.
And he's like, okay. Yeah. And then like as soon as he has a moment, he goes, I just want to introduce you to Peter. He's doing a podcast, Gambling with Good JuJu. He's a big fan of yours. And I like give him a business card. And he goes, oh yeah, I know you from the internet. We go back and forth some. And that's not me.
Right.
That's
obviously.
RJ.
Yeah.
That's my partner, by the way, if anyone listens to this who was in that conversation. But I'm not going to say that to him,
Right.
of course. So I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
loved
told me.
talking to you on Twitter. Didn't do it, but yeah.
That's
but
great.
Seriously, just thank you for the show. And it was a really cool moment. We're outdoors on top of Circa overlooking the strip. Like, what a wild, surreal moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, also, special shout out to our guy, Rob Meach. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I got it wrong, I apologize. But he's a sports gambling reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times who sat with us at dinner and talked to us throughout the event.
Yeah, awesome stuff.
He was our primary hang during the dinner.
Had great stories to share.
Oh my goodness, he was fun to talk to.
And a lot of industry insight. But I guess that's what you get when you're a sports gambling reporter.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Very cool stuff.
There were a number of social media personalities we got to interact with. So there were a few of them that were cool as well.
Yeah,
So.
totally.
And of course, Spanky, who goes out of his way to holler at us when we arrived.
Yeah.
As I mentioned in the open. So
Yes.
That was phenomenal.
Right. He said, "Put it on my belly." Did Jerry say that earlier? That was awesome.
I don't think we mentioned that. Yeah.
Yeah. Peter goes, "Can I give you a sticker, Spanky?" And he goes, "Put it on my belly."
And I think overall the coolest thing was getting the brand validated. So getting to see people respond and react to it, we got a lot of positive affirmation.
Yes. I'm not going to name all the names, but thank you to everyone that came up and talked to us because that was amazing.
That really was.
Yes.
And it wasn't just people who we had necessarily interacted with before.
Right.
It was people who just seen what we have, seen what we got. We even had some strangers tell us, "Oh, I like your outfit. I like your look."
Yeah. I'm not going to say I'm surprised anyone stopped us, but I am surprised at how many people did.
That's fantastic.
That was very cool.
That's fantastic. Anything else? Any other thoughts on the trip to Vegas? Anything you want to share before we get the perspectives of a recreational and a professional sports gambler?
Ooh, I don't know. I could go on and ramble, but let's get to the other guys.
I think we've done it. We'll cover off some of those stories, I'm sure, with Andrew, who spent the majority of the week, I would say, with us. Certainly was our primary gambling buddy over the course of our time there. That's going to cover it for us. Next up, we're talking with Andrew, AZ to Vegas. Find him at Wolverine Flyer on the Twitters. Stay tuned for that. Good juju to your week, everyone. Andrew is a recreational bettor from sports gambler from Arizona. Where he really shines is in taking advantage of casino promotions to fund trips, food, entertainment, and other perks of staying active with casinos. After several days together, I can confidently state that he is a plus EV hang.
Sure.
So welcome into the show, Andrew. I want to get into some of that you were just starting to talk to, but just for the audience, welcome in.
Thank you, guys. Happy to be here.
Before we get into the specifics of Bet Bash, and I believe in our first conversation, I told you, don't blame me. I'm not going to remember a lot of the things you tell me. So for the audience's sake, how long have you been sports gambling? How into sports gambling have you been prior to this particular conference?
Yeah, sure. So I started going out to Vegas in 2007 and have gone roughly about 40 times since then. So prior to Costa being overturned, yeah, there's a spreadsheet tracking all the fun stuff is my nature. So it was a good segue into sports gambling as a recreational hobby once it became legal, I believe in the fall of 2021 here in Arizona. So started off leveraging promos, building the bankroll, kind of step stooling up to arbitrage, EV bets, and middling. And then more recently, trying to learn the top-down approach from you guys and others in the Bet Bash.
So prior to you starting to sports gamble, you were already plus EV hustling with casinos?
Yes, love to take advantage of the Las Vegas Advisor promotions, American Casino Guide, which is now mostly defunct. There's a shell of it online that you can still leverage a few promotions, but always looking through credit card, miles rewards, Caesars rewards, MDMG rewards. If you're familiar with ZorkBest, that's kind of a thing that's still around that kind of blends the two worlds, and used to go to a few of those back when they were at Treasure Island.
Very cool.
You brought up Zorkfest
We
to me
were talking about that earlier today.
literally just today. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's coming up in November this year.
Does a great job, and the folks, the podcast hosts that join, and the other Miles and Points bloggers that join. It's a really fun crossroad intersection of just solving a fun puzzle with games, whether they're casino games or Miles and Points.
Yeah. I'm just getting into the miles thing, so Got to learn more. Always got to learn more, right?
Yes. Yeah. Every day's the Super Bowl. Got to always learn.
All right. Well, remind us, was this your first Bet Bash?
This is my first. Yep. I lived vicariously on Twitter last year, and I said, let's circle the date and try and make it work. And luckily, we all have great spouses that can hold down the fort for several days with the kiddos. And so now I'm kind of building back up my marriage equity.
Shout out the wives.
We do talk. We talk about marriage equity. That's
Absolutely, yeah.
Honey, I love you, and thanks for watching the kids.
Nailed it. All right. Back to our regular program here. All right. Let me ask you this. Because we're trying to get the perspective of a recreational sports bettor. What made you want to attend Bet Bash? You mentioned the FOMO on Twitter, but there's anything about the program specifically or the networking opportunity? Not to load your answer for you, but what exactly were you hoping to get out of this?
Yeah. So I think one, building a network. I had blogs, podcasts lined up in the miles and travels and points. Didn't really have as much in the sports gaming. There was different either Vegas podcasts that I would listen to, or just You Can Bet on That, A Better Life, to just get kind of a well-rounded education in gambling and kind of learning more. But this was an opportunity, I thought, to kind of hyper accelerate and almost catch up on, right? Some of these folks have been doing sports betting for 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, as we saw in that Hall of Fame induction. And so this for me was like my crash course in sports gambling.
Very cool.
Can we talk about
Please.
That Hall of Fame? How special did you feel? Not even to lead it. How did you feel being at the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame dinner?
Yeah, it was a great experience. I will say 4 hours was definitely testing the limits a little bit. But I mean, just the resumes that they put together was amazing. And it was an honor to be a part of that group. I mean, Spanky did an amazing job. And I think it's a testament to how much he really cares about the either recreational bettor and the professional bettor, right? Like he wants this industry to succeed and for the gambler to have a voice. And so it was really great to see his passion on display.
That gambler's voice commentary was a consistent theme throughout the conference. And I thought that was really interesting with everything that's been taking place. By the way, cheers, Andrew. Cheers, RJ. DraftKings has backed down in the state of Illinois. There will not be a surcharge on our wagers. We just learned that today.
Now,
Power to the
Thank
people.
you, Spanky.
Big go up, you
Exactly.
What'd you say?
How much?
I was going to say, you see a 10% cut on your same game parlay odds or January 1st.
Look, whatever they decide to do, we just don't place those bets. But if you're just going to take a straight hit on every potential winning wager, it's over. But if they can take as much vig as they want, they're still going to be wrong sometimes.
Look at Flip.
So you're saying it's kind of like dropping the odds on the all tell small, right? If you play it, it doesn't hurt you.
Yeah,
exactly.
They can hide as much vig in there as they want. They're still going to have to play two-way markets in a competitive way relative to all the other books who are operating. Now, I will say what we learned coming out of the conference, and it was a very common discussed point during it, was, hey, say something to all the gamblers out there, anyone listening here. That was a very heavy message during the conference. The entire, how much are we actually legislating? How much are we regulating the sports books themselves in terms of what they're allowed to do, what they're getting away with, and what's real and what's proper? And back to the Sports Gambling Hall of Fame conversation with you, Andrew, the thing that I found fascinating was, to a single individual, there was the originator of Pinnacle, there was the originator of the Chris line there, and there was Derek Stevens there. All of them said to a man that what they're doing right now in terms of modern operators and how they handle their customers is just unlike anything that's happened historically within the world of sports gambling.
Yeah.
Outside of scam operations. So I thought a lot of that was fascinating as well.
Very interesting times for sure.
Yeah, I think the number one thing that stuck out to me on the expert panels was that gaming regulators really had no idea what they were doing or who they were getting in bed with, right? And they had never heard, at least those on the panel, and they had mentioned some of their colleagues, just about the limiting, right? Like that was a new term for them. And so Spanky and his team having the American bettor's voice talking about, right, like what are the pros and cons of having these European model books come to the U.S. and open up shop and right, how do they typically run their business with limiting winning players? right? It hurts their tax revenue, right? Which makes the politicians not happy that they're not hitting the quotas that they were promised at the onset. So it'll be really interesting, I think, to see the Massachusetts case and where it kind of ducktails from there.
Yeah, it was fascinating to learn that like they just passed the legislature and didn't know anything about it. It was like, I can't believe there wasn't like some type of consult with someone other than the operators, right?
I thought there was like a subcommittee that was supposed to be informed, but
Yeah, right. Yeah, no.
I don't know. There was literally a legislator, Sean Fluharty from West Virginia, a very reasonable individual who had our back, so he probably should be president of the United States one day for no reason other than what he said there. But
Make America bad again.
make But seriously, what he said was your legislators don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And apparently none of the legislators in these states know anything about sports gambling.
Right.
And so it is our job to reach out to the individuals in front of us and say something. So Spanky and Joe, the CEO of Prime Sports, here you go. This is our podcast, our platform, saying to our audience, reach out to your legislators, say something. We shouldn't be paying high taxes. It needs to be a competitive marketplace so that it can be the true entertainment outlet, hobby, and still let them get their money that it's meant to be.
Yeah, and shout out American Bettor's Voice for sure.
American Bettor's Voice, go check them out. There you go. We'll clip it.
Boom.
Send it to Spanky. All right.
Well, I was going to say, right, one of the things that they had talked about was Alex from Sports Trade, the CEO, and Sean putting together a list of who you can reach out to in your local state legislature. So hopefully if that resource becomes available, you can link that in the show notes as well for anyone that's interested in connecting with their state regulator.
Yeah. Shout out also just the P2P operators that are joining the space where they can. That should help clean up a lot of this.
The more voices of integrity who are paying taxes to the state the way they want them to be, who are saying, no, don't do it that way, is good for us.
Absolutely. All right. Favorite panel or seminar, would you say?
Yeah, for myself, the seminars, I really enjoyed the account longevity, right? Like how can you disguise some of your plays? And I really appreciate the transparency. There's probably no way if you're a winning bettor with the DraftKings, the FanDuel, Caesars, MGM, that you're going to have your account forever, right? Depending on the level. I think they quoted something around if you win about 25,000, you will get red flagged no matter how much camouflage you throw out there with a 2-leg parlay or a same game parlay and try and put some dumb bets, if you will, in there. And then I would say the other one was the correlated parlay. So just having some data and some statistics from the Plus EV Twitter handle individual, just again, helpful insights and things I took notes down and hopefully can help me in the football season to come.
It'll be here before you know it.
And do you originate your own football plays?
I don't. No, I love to tail Gil Alexander's a numbers game, the guest that he has on, and Adam Chernoff is another person that I will listen into for insights. And then I will say I kind of make my bets from there. I don't necessarily just kind of blindly tail, but I don't have any models or anything. I have 2 kids that keep me busy along with the full-time gig. So those are my models right now.
Did you discuss top-down betting with them?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, we're gonna have another call about that off the mic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Andrew. We're happy to help you.
Not that it's a trade secret, but it's not the time.
We'll get you set up.
We'll get you set up.
We'll get you set up.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think about the speed networking while we're on Bet Bash stuff? So let me real quick for the audience set the stage for them, and then I want to hear your thoughts here. So as far as the speed networking, we go in and it's the very first thing of the conference we have to do at 10 in the morning in Las Vegas on a Wednesday morning. And it is
not only that, real quick. It's like, hey, welcome aboard. Here's as much alcohol as you want, top shelf.
Yeah. Here's a huge party for you. Tuesday night, drink as much as you want, as long as you want. We'll see you fresh as a daisy the next day.
Yep.
So we get there, and it's literally a huge room with like 176 or something individual mini tables set up, right? And you get assigned it's like a shotgun start with a full shot sheet of 15 interviews. You talk for like 7 minutes or something like that, and then you trade. It was insane. Before I give any thoughts, before you give any thoughts, Andrew, this speed networking experience.
What'd you think?
What'd you think, bud?
I loved it. I think it was a perfect placement, right? For, as Binky says, right? Most sports bettors are probably going to be more introverted. And so having an opportunity for folks to get out of their shell, build some networks. I definitely connected with 3 or 4 out of my 15 that I kept in contact with throughout the event. I will say it was hard with about 300, 400 people all talking at the same time in a conference room. So one of the pro moves that someone told me around round 8 or 9 is we just kind of walk casually out to the lobby area, and you could have a more relaxed conversation there. And then when the time ran up, you just walk back in. So I would recommend anyone trying to do that, just kind of break away a little bit so you're not screaming for most of the conference and for the speed networking. But overall, yeah, thought it was a great idea. And I appreciate them doing the pre-screening. So I don't think you guys mentioned, but they'll give you a survey, right? So they try and pair you up with if you're a mover, if you're an originator, right? What are you trying to get out of the conference? I thought that was really helpful. How about you guys?
Absolutely. I loved it. And I purposely tried to like shake up my survey a little bit so I would get a broad spectrum of like a little taste of everything. And that's exactly what I got.
I screwed up. No, look, for the record, that is not a comment. I had 15 lovely conversations. That's not a comment on who I got matched with.
Yeah.
I had no high scores. So like you get a score and everyone else's sheet I was looking at was like ranked in like the mid 90s for each other. Yeah. And then like mine, everyone's was like 85 for me. And everyone I only had one person I rated in the 90s with. And I think that is a discredit to my attempt to fill out the pre-survey. I think I screwed it up.
Didn't put your best foot forward there.
I didn't really know what I was trying to get out of it. Yeah. I think is probably how I approached the pre-survey, and I think they figured that out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Does he want to give out? Does he want to get out? So I don't know. Neither.
One of the lessons learned was just printing up your own, recreational, if you will, business cards with contact information. I mean, I saw such technology innovation in the sense someone would have a QR code on their phone, and all I had to do was take a picture of it, and boom, it downloaded their whole contact information into my phone. So that's something I want to definitely leverage next year, to have to write down less, right? And if you don't write stuff down, it's so hard to remember those conversations because you're just getting blasted one person to the next with these 2 to 3 minute conversations. So taking notes was clutch as well on that piece of paper that Spanky gave us.
I will tell you something though. Someone also QR coded my phone. I don't know where that is. I don't know who that is. Like, I would have to figure out of my 1,000 contacts in my phone, which one just QR coded into my phone. It was so quick.
Technology.
So I did do that. I have no idea. Whoever you are, maybe one day I'll scroll through all 1,000 contacts and try to find you.
Yeah. Shout out everybody that had cards though. Yeah. That was helpful.
Yeah, like us.
You guys had the swag bags, which were helpful with the stickers and the buttons.
Thank you very much.
Those were hitting some of our friends that we met.
Excuse me, sir. Those were Goody JuJu bags.
Nice.
All right, you mentioned it. So you're going to be returning next year. Is that the plan?
That's the plan. So Spanky has the dates on the website. I don't remember offhand, but I'm sure you could probably put them in the show notes. So it's going to go on the calendar this weekend. I'm going to give it a little bit more time before I broach it with the wife. Maybe set up a spa trip or two for her before announcing that trip, because it's a big ass. I mean, you guys were out there, I think, Ryan, right, since Monday yourself. And Pete, you and I came in on Tuesday. So, I mean, it's Tuesday through Saturday, Monday through Saturday. It's a marathon. And it's in Vegas, right? Which is no easy task.
If you go back, are you going to do full length? Would you do it the exact same? You'd want to go for the full length?
I think so. Yeah. The only thing, I think Spanky does a good job with starting the events at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, right? It's not like your typical industry conference starting at 7 o'clock breakfast. I thought there was ample breaks between sessions. Like I think we had about an hour buffer between the seminars, and as we found, sometimes the tables called us more readily than this conference, but we toggled back and forth and made the most of it. So I got my money's worth for sure.
Definitely. I think it was the first thing my wife asked when I got home. How was the trip? You going back next year?
I think Christy might have said that to me too.
Yeah.
Our overs under set at 2.5. Are you taking the over or under?
As far as how many days or how many?
No. Are we all going?
Oh. Well, yeah, I'm going.
I mean,
okay.
If I'm still doing the podcast, which let's keep doing it.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So as long as I keep doing the podcast, I think it is a good networking event. I think it is a fun event. And I think it is an event that is going to increase the quality of our content moving forward as a result of it.
Yeah.
And that was the thing we wanted to go for. We wanted to get introduced to enough people that people would be comfortable easily saying yes to us for conversations. And for me personally, and that was a clear success. So I think as long as I want to continue building those relationships, getting those conversations, having those sorts of episodes that we hope to have, then it's an important attend event for us.
Nice. Do you guys ever see yourself doing the other meetups, like the ones in Tahoe, Biloxi, Colorado, Vegas, vacation?
So
Things that aren't really necessarily sports betting, but just gambling in general.
these are very important to me, these meetups. I definitely want to get to Biloxi. We've been talking about that one for over a year. I'd love to get to a Zork Fest. If there's something ever in Chicago again, I would love to get to that one. But yeah, like,
Or you could start one in Chicago. Rekindle that.
wow.
Look, I don't want to tease season 3 yet, but we've had a number of conversations already since Bet Bash with some ideas in
Mhm.
terms of how we plan to grow. And I think the casino part of it is really important to my buddy here next to me. And now I think it's important to acknowledge that. And so, yeah, I think it's important that we engage. These networking events are great. I mean, they're great for you to be able to nerd out. You said it earlier. We have a problem. We started this podcast in part because there was no one to talk to on our level of nerdiness regarding this hobby, right? And so as we continue to grow in that, now we're finding these outlets with individuals. Yeah, we want to be a part of them. Of course, we want to be a part of them. We just got to balance that real world life against it, Andrew.
I hear you. I know. But I mean, right, there's casinos now downtown with Bally's.
Yeah.
Temporary one I got to go to last October. You got Rivers, you got all of Hammond. So I mean, it'd be a great meetup to casino hop, right? You wouldn't be kind of landlocked to just one place.
Yeah. Have you been to Biloxi?
I have, yeah. So in between jobs, I took a week off and did a really long circuit. Went New Orleans, Lake Charles, Shreveport,
Wow.
then down to Biloxi. So saw about 20 different casinos in 5 days. That was a good road trip.
That's awesome. Would you recommend?
Yeah.
Would you recommend we check out Biloxi?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is friendly folks, great food, low limits, relatively, the hardest thing is getting there, right? You fly into New Orleans. Maybe you guys from O'Hare could get direct down to Gulfport. That's kind of like the only hard thing is, right? Like if you fly into New Orleans, you're going to have to rent a car more than not, unless you have an amazing host that
Sure.
can get you a limo or something like that.
Right. Fair enough.
Have you guys been to Tahoe?
No.
I have. Oh
Yeah.
my God. That's the most fun place on earth.
Especially if you can snowboard or ski. Oh, it's heaven.
Well, we went in summer. The lake was awesome. We did the lake. I mean, hang
lake
out in
life.
the lake, did some hiking. You got casinos all night. I loved it. Tahoe's a fun place, and it is ridiculously beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I get like
Absolutely gorgeous.
bro beautiful? Like,
How do you get there?
oh, you could either fly into Reno or Sacramento. You can choose.
And then you got to drive.
It just
Yeah.
depends on which one.
Sacramento is 2 hours and Reno's about 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sacramento has more flights. Reno is expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least it was for me. So
It's gorgeous. Yeah. I mean, Reno's its own beast. It's downtown Vegas stuck in the 80s. So if you love low limit gambling, it's a good deal. But yeah, Tahoe state line with the 4 casinos is just really nice.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go once we get that RV.
oh yes, that's a great call. RV to Tahoe.
RV to Tahoe.
All right, Andrew. Did you get any? Let's call it plans coming out of Bet Bash, or anything you plan to follow up on as a result of your experience at Bet Bash?
Yeah, I got to meet a lot of great folks in the Phoenix area, and there was one meetup with Promo Cactus, and I wasn't able to make that, but I'm going to try and resurrect maybe another meetup this fall. So if anyone's in the Arizona area, happy to give my contact information to these guys, and they can get us connected, and hope to see you for the fall for football season.
Well, we've already blasted at Wolverine Flyer in our episodes, so just so you know,
You're going to get
you're gonna get blown up from
2,
all our
3,
listeners.
4.
There's this guy, old Dan Tomlin. He's going to talk to you maybe now.
He's
You're
gonna
going to
hit
love
you
it.
up.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else from your time in Vegas, whether it be conference or hanging out with this guy, maybe when I wasn't even around?
I mean, there are definitely a lot of stories, too much to unpack. I wanted to give a shout out, and I think Ryan would agree, to Jonathan Jossel, the CEO over at the Plaza. We had the opportunity to meet him and his leadership team on a Friday morning. They do a great meetup. It sounds like every week on Fridays, just with guests and customers. And he had said, "Hey, do you guys want to go up to the roof?" And I was like, "Okay, like what's going on here?" And he just needed to take some pictures. So we got to see their fireworks set up. So again, just creating memorable moments, whether it's at Bet Bash, outside of Bet Bash. That's what doing Vegas is all about, right? You just never know who you can run into, what kind of activities and shenanigans you can get into. So that's why it's the place that I keep going back to year after year.
Yeah, what a cool experience out of the blue. Thank you for letting me know about this. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
Are you more of a downtown or a strip guy?
I think it depends, right? So if I'm with my wife, it's pretty exclusively the strip. If I'm by myself, I will kind of pop around depending on where I have comps. So I enjoy taking a look at locals casinos. So I went out to Durango, one of the trips, went out to Hoover Dam. I like renting cars and seeing different parts of Southern Nevada. So, but for the most part, I enjoy downtown. That's where I've been able to make some connections with either Jonathan or Derek and David at the circuit groups. So yeah, kind of don't really have any hard allegiance, just kind of finding the deals.
I did, after the dinner, we did run into Travel Ruby, took some photos, apologized profusely for missing her fireworks plunger action.
Mm-hmm.
But that was fun. I can't wait to see those pictures. They were on the
She did the fireworks for the Plaza?
that night, yeah. They have somebody new come out and hit the button every detonator.
And that's why you ran across her. I
Yeah,
gave her a sticker.
Yeah.
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 Did he give Jonathan Jossel a sticker while we're on the topic?
Ooh, that's a good.
I think I had to give him a sticker and a card, yeah.
Good.
I hope so.
I hope so. Hopeful future guest on the show.
It's likely on his bumper.
All right, Andrew. Anything else before we let you go, bud?
We didn't really talk about our origin story, but Ryan had reached out to me on Twitter and just said, "Hey, we're going to Bet Bash. We just did an episode with Spanky. I think you might like it and take a listen." And so from there, I thank you guys for reaching out. It was awesome hanging out with you for the week and had a really great time and hope to do it again soon.
Absolutely, man. We had so much fun.
And we genuinely appreciate it as well. I mean, real quick, the AP slots tutorial was real deal. Okay, so audience, I can't believe we didn't get into this. We're going to get into this. I'll edit it in. We're good. Okay.
Or it could just be part 2.
I have grown an affinity for slots. Independent of our new friend Andrew, independent of RJ, who doesn't like slots,
right?
Independent of everyone else I know, I found that droning out in front of a slot machine and occasionally hoping to get the thingy to spin up and hopefully get your money back on it is a reasonably fun time when you're like sick of everything else in the casino. Well, here comes our friend Andrew to ruin the whole experience for me. But also blow our minds in terms of what people are actually doing.
Yeah.
So what's the phrase for them when they're sitting around?
Slot hustlers?
Hustlers?
What? Sour rooters, right?
Sour rooters. Yeah. You knew it was a play because we had a sour rooter behind us hanging out for when we were at the Golden Nugget. So
yes,
that's how you know you got a good play, if you have an audience behind you.
Yes. So he walks us around the casino and we're walking through the casino and our guy Andrew can literally just be like, nope, not that machine. That doesn't do anything. That machine's useless. That machine's not going to tell us anything. And he's specifically looking for certain indicators that'll say a machine is close to paying out at a certain number. And then if he can figure out what that number actually is going to pop at versus how much money he would have to put in that machine to force it to pop, he can determine if he's going to make money on a slot machine. And so we go around and here's what I discovered. I just want to play a slot machine. But Andrew's like walking around like, nah, maybe this one. He'll like put in some money. I'm like, let me put my money in, bud. We're going around and doing it. And finally he comes up to one. He's like, I'm not sure, but this one looks pretty good. We might want to get in there. So we all put in our money and we played that slot machine for what? At least an hour. Wouldn't you say, Andrew? Yeah. At least an hour.
Wow.
It didn't pop.
Yeah.
And RJ and I both realized we don't have the patience for this.
Yeah, there's the quick ones, and then there's the grind ones.
Sure.
Tim Lawson has a good story of last year's Bet Bash chasing one of the Buffalo Diamonds for several hours. And so, sometimes they're worth it. Sometimes you got to do the cost of your time, right? And kind of evaluate those two things.
And you did tell us, to be clear, that, okay, this one's a grind when we walked up to it.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure you had explained it to me. And let me tell you, I had no idea what that meant in the moment. And I figured it out by the end of 1 hour.
Yeah, right. We're just used to just slicing cash and slot machines and moving on with our lives.
Yeah.
For the most part.
By the way, we did do that our last night in Vegas, Andrew. Ha ha.
For old time's sake.
We just went in and just
you did the theatric. Yeah.
$200 straight down the drain on like 14 spins. It was unbelievable.
Sky wheel.
No, it wasn't the Sky Wheel.
Oh, yeah, we did the basket of something first. Yeah.
Who knows? That was our problem. So anyway, thank you to you, Andrew, for the AP slot tutorial. We are going to be reaching out to you with the list of slot machines at the Paradise Casino here in East Peoria, Illinois. If you wouldn't mind, just take a quick look through them. Let us know what you think, which ones we might want to check out.
Point us out to 2 or 3.
And we'll start figuring out how to do it on our
Absolutely. That'd be great. I didn't realize how many people are the sour rooters or the AP players or whatever. Like after you pointed a few out, I was like, holy crap, it's most of these people.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you could spot them from a mile away.
Yeah.
You were like, look over there on the other side of the casino. That's definitely a slot hustler.
That was great.
I equated to, I used to listen to Gambling with an Edge, and they would talk about hole carding and counting cards, and something I never did with blackjack, but you do this slot thing for about a year now is what I've read up on it and kind of been in casinos, and it's weird. It's almost like a sixth sense now. You can kind of just pick up things because they're similar tells for folks that are looking for plays and what they do to scan machines. So yeah, it's kind of one of those things I cannot unsee anymore.
And now we just have to find out how many there are at the Paradise.
I had a similar conversation with Peter when I first started tops down betting, and he was like, oh, don't ruin this for me. I just want to tail 2 strangers on Twitter.
I just want to hit the button, Andrew.
Yeah.
I just want to hit the button.
Same game parlays with Kevin Hart and go home.
Exactly. Look at us now. All right.
Andrew, thank you so much for joining us this week. We had a ton of fun with you at Bet Bash. We hope you had the same amount of fun with us. Everyone, check him out on Twitter at Wolverine Flyer. Andrew, we'll see you, if not before then, next year at Bet Bash.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, folks. Thank you to Andrew for joining us. We're going to actually split this episode into 2 pieces. We have Steve Fezzik, professional gambler, coming up, and we had such a great conversation with him. We want to make sure we get those in the proper places for everyone. We're going to be recapping Bet Bash with Steve as well. But in the meantime, what did you think of our conversation with Andrew?
Yeah, what a great conversation. Shout out Andrew for spending the week with us.
I mean, yeah, literally, aside from him doing the podcast, aside from everything else, Andrew, we appreciate you just having a good time with us and being our homie on the trip.
Absolutely. And like you said in text message on the last day, this obviously Vegas isn't going away. We'll run into each other again.
Right. We will see Andrew again.
Lifelong connection. Thank you for everything you helped us with in the casinos, because we're kind of noobs. And thank you for all the company and the fun times regardless.
I may consider AB slots moving forward, particularly at the Paradise. It will not be something I actively try to engage in at a casino where I don't know what's going on.
So shout out. Good luck, the Paradise, keeping your money.
Yeah. Andrew, thank you once again. It was great to get a recreational bettor's perspective on the matter. Folks, stay tuned. In a couple days here, we're going to have Steve Fezzik recapping Bet Bash. Good juju to your bets, everyone. We'll talk again soon.
Bye.
We had a good validation of our brand. out there.
I concur.
That was one of the neat things to see. No one was like, why are you guys doing this?
We're all over you.
Like literally everyone is like, I get what I see you.
I get it.
I see what you guys are doing. I respect it. I don't know that it's for me. I'm an aggressive gambler. But I see it. And I'm not mad at you for it because I don't disagree with the sentiment.
Right.
Like I felt like that was the exact tone from what was his name? JuJu guy.
Oh yeah.
JuJu.
Yeah.
We're not live. I don't have to air that.
But who did they come crawling to when they needed to hit a hot blackjack table?
For real.
Rizal.